Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome back to another video. You know, my next mission is to be able to put something on the audio on the helmet and not have it come through the microphone. Not sure how I'm going to be able to pull that one off, but we'll see. I'll keep an eye out. Hey, shout out Mr. E-Boarder. Mr. E-Boarder, are you out there? Wow, that soccer ball really just came close to hurting us. Anyway, welcome back, people. Welcome to another video. Just taking a cruise around Central Park. I'm going to take another attempt at breaking down the bit of history of the company Librachem that made history with this device that I'm riding right now. And yes, there are other companies who started making them before Librachem. I know. But Librachem broke new ground with the reliability and the robustness of the one they produced. They set a new bar, a new standard for these types of devices, these electric unicycles. This is when the electric unicycle became a viable mode of transportation, in my opinion. The specs were unparalleled. The reliability was taking to new heights. And so I want to talk about Librachem, who made this wheel that I'm riding now. Librachem, one word, Leaperkim, created the veteran Sherman after a majority of their engineers left another company that made electric unicycles called Gotway, Gotway. And Gotway were the cutting edge guys. They were the ones at the forefront of this. I'm not a huge fan of Gotway wheels right now, but I am a fan of Gotway innovation. So yes, I acknowledge that they did set the path. Until this day, they are still creating new wheels and doing really well for themselves. But they have a few hiccups along the way, namely with fires, battery fires from using cheap batteries, and with reliability, general cheap parts. It's kind of their MO, and they want to save you money and give you lots of great performance. So I'm not in the market for money saving at the expense of safety, reliability, and longevity. I think I'm more in the market for reliability, quality, and so on. So Librachem, the creators of the veteran Sherman, came together and said, hey, we're going to make a proper wheel. We're going to use thicker cables, better cable management, better quality batteries, a bigger motor. We're going to keep the shell design really simple. We're going to put a roll cage to protect the wheel in the event of a collision or accident. And they came up with this military-esque looking, plain, dull, boring design looking veteran Sherman named after a tank called the veteran Sherman, which I believe was used during World War II. I maybe have to be fact-checked on that, but I do know it was named after a tank, and that tank was named after a famous war general. So there's a string of names. And so the veteran Sherman came out, the very first iteration, and it had a few hiccups. They used a rim which was a little bit too thin, and the tire would come off of the rim, and that would cause a motherboard burnout, which meant that the computer chip inside the veteran Sherman would get overloaded, and the wheel would stop turning, and it would basically smoke out, maybe even catch on fire. So, but everything else was amazing. The reliability, the speed, the stability, it literally broke new ground in the electric unicycle rider community. It was being hailed as the new hero among EUCs. But that issue was definitely prevalent. It happened to more than one rider, and they resolved it. They made a slightly larger rim, larger machine rim, and what happened from there? They ended up what's it called? They ended up making some modifications. The pedals were too low, and they raised the pedal hangers so that the pedals weren't so low to the ground. They made the rim a little wider. Instead of 2.5 inches wide, it became 3 inches wide. And then they changed the screen covering on the top of the machine because it was letting water creep through in the event of rain or sprinklers spraying water towards the wheel. So they did a slightly better job waterproofing. They may have done one or two other small things that are not coming to my memory right now, but they did this very soon after the first release of the Veteran Sherman. So that means if you ordered the second shipment, which was a couple of months after the first shipment, then you got a lot of these updates. And I believe the following update after that, which was another few months, they used a slightly thicker, stronger material for the rim because apparently it was bending too easily and breaking too easily when riders were hitting speed bumps. Which again is not a whole design flaw, but rather one of their suppliers of parts wasn't doing a good job giving over good rims for the assembly of the Veteran Sherman. So they must have told their supplier, hey, toughen those rims up a little bit, thicken the metal a little bit, use a better amalgamation of metals so that the rim is a little stronger, because we're doing a lot of riding and we need durability. And so the next iteration, which again was just a couple months in, they didn't change the name of the wheel or anything. They just upgraded the rim and they called it V3 or version 3 of the Veteran Sherman. Okay, and that was it. And then for months, if not years, a year or two, the Veteran Sherman became the staple of the wheelhouse. It became the household name, the one that you can recommend safely and assuredly. Even though the price tag was a bit high, it became the wheel to own. Even though it was a little bulky and heavy to carry upstairs or put in the trunk of your car, even though it wasn't as pretty and it didn't come with Bluetooth speakers built into it so you can listen to music while you're riding, even though it wasn't as maneuverable as some of the smaller, thinner, lighter wheels, even though a lot, it still just became the king of the wheels. But other companies were closely following behind and developing their own wheels and even their own fan base, where people began to debate whether or not the Veteran Sherman was even the best wheel anymore. Well, that's when Librachem then released the Veteran Sherman Max, which addressed some of the criticisms of the Veteran Sherman. Namely, that the Veteran Sherman took too long to pick up speed, to accelerate. It was too big and heavy. And riders were used to having that zippy, powerful speed from other wheels. Well, the Veteran Sherman Max had unparalleled torque, meaning acceleration power. It took off from the line, meaning it took off from 0 miles per hour like a thunderbolt and accelerated extremely quickly. The Veteran Sherman Max became the new wheel to beat. It was only a few pounds heavier than the Veteran Sherman, and it had an even thicker, stronger rim and a thicker, stronger center axle. And the center axle was known to break if you did extreme wheeling, like jumping and trail riding, because it was just a thin bolt running through the center of the wheel, which over time corroded, rusted, and essentially disintegrated. And that became cause for a lot of work and a lot of repairing needed if you ever were unfortunate enough to come across that issue. Now, it wasn't common. It didn't happen to a lot of people, especially people who kept their wheels away from water and avoided jumping off of curbs and stairs. For the most part, you didn't have to worry too much about the axle. Oh
my God! What the fuck?
Careful, people. So these guys, young people on these very fast electric bikes, are definitely going too fast and not looking in front of them. And it looks like they ran over this poor woman here who was walking on the walkway. Not cool. Miss, are you okay?
Yeah, I hit my head, but I hit the back.
Do you need me to get you anything? Do you need me to get you anything from the store or anything? You alright? Maybe a little ice or something at some point?
Yeah, no, I know. But they need to get over where they're supposed to be, you guys.
Yeah.
I was in the pedestrian.
They're probably looking around a little bit and got distracted.
I'm sorry?
I said they were probably looking around a little bit and got distracted.
No, I know. We've all been there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'm just happy.
yeah. We're glad you're okay, for sure.
Yeah, I don't even know how I felt.
Do you feel dizzy or anything? Are you able to, are your eye focus?
I'm a veterinarian, so
Oh.
I got some medical stuff behind me.
Good, good, okay.
Bye.
Alright, feel better. Sorry for that.
Thank you guys for stopping.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
You okay there?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
No, they don't. You alright there, young man? Alright. Alright, be careful, guys. That was unfortunate. It's more common than you might think for a person walking on the path to get hit by a bicycle. It's very easy to start looking around when you're on the bike and just enjoy the cruise and not think much about it. But hey, come on, guys, what are you doing? Yeah. I guess maybe if they need support, if they need help or anything like that, it should be known. Okay, anyway. I wonder if Citibank is liable for that. I wonder if, you know, they rent out these bikes to children. I don't know what the protocol is about that, but it's bad enough they're taking all our parking spots with their little bike racks, and now they're giving bikes to children, and children are running people over. Is this okay? I'm only being a cynic, being cynical about it all, but I mean, it's definitely stuff to consider regarding safety. That woman could have been seriously injured or perhaps worse, so glad she's okay. Everyone out there, please be careful if you're watching this video. Let that be a public service announcement, warning. Yikes. Okay, so I'm going to get back to what I was saying there then about the veteran Sherman. So the veteran Sherman Max came along and basically set a new standard for acceleration and safety and reliability. It possessed all of the same traits, features, quality, characteristics, robustness, and really design. I mean, it looked just like the veteran Sherman from the outside. But they made a larger, thicker center bolt. They added more battery power on the inside, which meant there was more power to draw from, thicker cables, which meant you can accelerate faster and draw more power from the battery into the motor. So the acceleration was amazing. And apparently, according to users, to riders who've owned them both, more range. So if you got 100 miles of riding range off the veteran Sherman, then you were getting about 110 miles of riding range on the veteran Sherman Max. along with all that beautiful acceleration power. And you know, you might say, well, what do you need to take off like a rocket ship every time you're riding your wheel? And well, you don't, but it's nice to know it's there. It's if you're riding with traffic with cars and you need to pull out quickly to get away from a couple of cars that are around you, well then you're going to be able to do it. And so the veteran Sherman Max quickly became a safety. It had a higher safety margin. Although if you use that acceleration irresponsibly or in an ill-advised manner, you are putting yourself actually at greater risk, because if you accelerate it too fast, you put yourself in you put yourself in a position where you might potentially collide with someone more likely than if you didn't have all that power. 1 second, I'm going to take this call. If it's not too late. No. Okay, so so it was a safety issue, and I'm trying to take this slow so I don't skip anything here. The veteran Sherman Max was better all around. Oh, it weighed about 7 or 8 pounds more. So if you were carrying your wheel into the trunk, or if you lived up a walk-up building where you had to go up like 4 or 5 flights of stairs, well then the Sherman Max just added to that discontentness. But other than that, it felt lighter and quicker. It was a better wheel all around, I would say. More reliable even, and so that was the Sherman Max. And that's where we are today, believe it or not. And this has been a few years now already. Maybe 2 years now of Sherman Max being out there. I mean, it couldn't have been longer than that, I don't think, because I've had my Sherman for 2 years, even though it felt like an eternity. But, so there you go. There's the brief history of the Leaper Kim, Sherman, and Sherman Max. And there are other wheels that that Leaper Kim has made besides the Sherman and the Sherman Max, which are the Leaper Kim Veteran Abrams and the Leaper Kim Veteran Sherman S and the Leaper Kim Veteran Patton. So 3 more wheels, which we'll discuss on the next time. Thanks for tuning into this one. Enjoyed having you along for the ride. And make sure to tell all your friends. I'll see you all on the next one. Have a great day. Goodbye.